Hello, friends. This is Tomar Levine of Soul Guidance for Awakening. And this is part of my ongoing experiment in doing daily live streams for the month of March. And today is the 7th one I'm doing. Actually, it's the 8th because this is a redo of something I did an hour ago. So, as I said, this process of experimentation is very much about stepping into the unknown. That's what I'm calling the whole project, the whole month, not just the first week. I think it's going to be going on forever, as long as I'm doing this, as stepping into the unknown. And each step brings new discoveries and new challenges for sure, as any of you know who are working with technology in our wonderful computer age, which I adore. I'm so grateful for. So, the subject, the theme of this talk is stepping into the unknown, resting in the lap of the Great Mother. And this is a continuation of what I was talking about yesterday, which was International Women's Day, and I was talking a lot about the principle of the divine feminine and nature and many other things. And I've been talking about the unknown as the great mystery, the great unknown, the cosmic unknown. So this unknown is like a staircase with many steps, and we can just be on the ground floor level of like, I don't know what's happening with my life. I don't know what's happening with our world. I don't know what's happening with COVID-19. I don't know what's happening with my career. But we can really look deeper and further and keep seeing more and more meanings and more aspects to this unknown. And there's an unknown I'm going to deal with. So I just closed the window to try to make it more quiet in here. So something I said yesterday, I wanted to amend today. I was speaking about the nature and Mother Nature, and I said that's what we mean when we use the term the divine feminine. And I'm aware that many of us do generally conflate the two, the divine feminine and the natural world, and the beauty of nature and the abundance, the infinite creativity and intelligence of nature and the support for our life, which it is. But there is something more, and I was alerted to that fact by, once again, second day in a row, my friend Bobby Middendorf posted something on Facebook in which he referenced the term the Infinite Mother and Mama Gaia as two separate phenomena. And I realized I have to correct what I said yesterday. Because when we speak of the divine feminine, we're not only speaking of the miracle of life on earth and the miracle of the surpassing beauty of nature and the infinite creativity and generativity and life support and all of that, which we can't even contain in our mind. It's so beyond comprehending. And yet, there is something more, because nature is not infinite. She may be infinite in her abundance, in her fecundity, in her, like infinite forms of creation, which we have not exhausted discovering yet on this planet. But the actual forms of nature, of course, are finite. They're physical. They're energetic. And they're microscopic and all of that. But they are within a spectrum of reality we would call physical. And the Infinite Mother is not physical and is not finite. And if you think of a mother principle that is as vast as the universe and then goes beyond and keeps on going far beyond the limits of the known universe or the multiverse, that would be an infinite principle, not bound by any form or any limit. So I was thinking about creation stories and how different religious traditions, shall we say, have different ways of describing, or the stories they tell are different about the source of all creation, the process of creation, of the world, of the universe, of life. But there's one that sticks in my mind that I know I learned from some Kabbalistic teachings I studied, but I'm quite sure from other sources as well, because it has to do with this one becoming two, becoming many. The one, the unity, the all-encompassing, undivided oneness of the absolute, which would be, some call it in the Christian tradition, the Godhead. So it's the before creation. It's what we would refer to as God in the hidden or withdrawn form, with not yet expressing, not yet manifesting in any form. It's what happened before creation. Like people ask, why did God create the universe? Well, because God wanted to experience itself, because it was just completely one. And it wanted to experience two and many. So the principle, so one becomes two, becomes many. The two are the male principle and the female principle. The two are the impulse to create, the generative, or the arrow of thought that shoots from the consciousness of the divine outward into what? The male principle, if you think of it in terms of sexual procreation, is that impulse to go forward. So it's an arrow that shoots out, and it lands in the feminine principle, which is a receptacle, which is a container, which is a vessel, a holding container. It is a womb, the womb of creation. So this principle or impulse, I will create form, I will create something, I will experience myself as a multiplicity. In order to do that, there had to be these two principles. The male and the female together procreate and create the many, the multiplicity, the infinite numbers of things. So the feminine principle is that receptive vessel, that receptive container that holds all, that is waiting to be impregnated by the thought or intention. Now, by the way, these male and female principles of the divine are co-equal branches of the divine. One is not more God than the other. They are together. They are needed to be there together. So the feminine divine, the divine feminine principle is this womb, receptive vessel, from which then pours out all the multiplicity of forms of creation. And we speak of that infinite container as a void and emptiness, which in and of itself does not contain things. If you look inside the Divine Mother, her womb, that void, you will not see planets and galaxies. You will not see people and dogs. You will not see cars and refrigerators. You won't see anything. You see the infinite potential of everything in latent form. And once it is activated through some act of intention, then the creation is allowed to emerge and form starts to happen. So that's why we speak of the feminine principle as being the unknown, as being the void, as being the emptiness, as being the infinite mystery from which life emerges. So that's why the concept of the divine feminine is way, 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 way vaster than Mama Gaia, than nature. Because nature and all the principles and genius of that creative possibility, which seems infinite to us from our finite minds, can't conceive, can't contain, can't imagine how it happens. But nonetheless, that is part of what emerges out of the womb, the emptiness, the mystery, the void. So therefore, we're equating mystery with mother, emptiness, void, infinite potential with the divine mothering instinct, the holding of all life. And as it becomes closer to actual experience of life in nature, we feel more the imprint of the mothering love, the tenderness, the protection, the kiss that makes it better. But the ultimate lap of the Divine Mother is resting in the mystery and allowing the unknown to be okay, allowing the mystery to be what we seek and what informs us. So I was thinking about safety. What constitutes safety? Again, there are many levels. It's like a staircase of many steps. But in our culture, in our Western culture in particular, we're given certain scripts. I guess all cultures are given scripts for what constitutes a good and worthy life and how to protect yourself and be safe. There are many values that different cultures esteem maybe more highly than that, but in our culture, safety is certainly one of them. Somehow, given the degree of individualism and separateness that we have been taught is our reality, is how we see the world in the Western cultures, that need for safety seems to fall on us as individuals, or at best with a family. In the past, it was an extended family, it was a tribe, it was a community, which starts to be way more of a support and a true ground of safety. In our separate individualistic culture, more and more the implication is that our safety, our well-being, whether it's financial or health or career, our survival and our thriving, somehow depends on us as an individual. Somehow this one little ego, mind, personality, and physical body is supposed to be responsible for controlling outer circumstances and keeping me safe, making sure that bad things don't happen. Just thinking about this could be a full-time job, and it just engenders so much anxiety and stress, imagining that I'm supposed to be capable of rendering the world safe so that nothing bad will happen to me, that I can somehow control outer circumstances. So, when I talk about it this way, you can tell it's absurd and impossible. And yet this is what our culture has sort of devolved into, unless we have some foundation of faith in something greater than ourselves. And I am positing here the idea that it is possible to rest in the lap of the Great Mother, that there is this power of reality that is the mother of everything, and that means the mother of you and me and all of us. and that truly we need to give up the attempt to be the one in control of our life in order to allow something greater to live through us and to flow through us. And if we actually trust and open to that, we find not just a safety, but miraculousness coming into our life that we could not anticipate. And that, one way of describing that is to take a chance on stepping into the unknown of the divine mystery, the great mother who holds us all. The unknown is actually what is safe. I'm going to leave you with that for today. Thank you. Many blessings, and bye for now.